Eugene, let's start with you. Of course, we don't know what the jury has decided, but give us the context of what is on the line this afternoon.
Well, what is on the line is whether or not what we saw on that video for 9 minutes involving Derek Chauvin and George Floyd will be viewed as something that is excessive and unacceptable and not permissible in policing, or if it will be justifiable, and if this will be something that law enforcement will be able to look at and decide that this is something we can put into place if we are afraid, if we feel threatened, if we feel distracted. And so what could happen going forward could have real implications, not just obviously in the Minneapolis Police Department, but what happens going forward in police departments across the country.
And James, you know, this is such a big story nationally, frankly, globally, but it's a very personal story for the family of George Floyd.
Yeah, and for the community of Minneapolis, Libby, this is something that this is their local police, and so many people have put so much on this trial, and for a lot of Americans, they're looking to it as a gauge of whether or not the justice system still works.
All right, James,
What?
so let's go through the charges here.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
There are 3 charges, and the jury could find Derek Chauvin guilty of any of them, all of them, or none of them. Let's talk through the most serious of these charges, James.
Yeah, so the most serious of these charges, Libby, is murder in the 2nd degree, and that
And the circus
requires
begins, yes.
showing that there was. It's basically called felony murder. If you were injuring, assaulting someone, committing a felony assault, and someone then died, if you were intentionally committing that felony assault, even if you didn't intend to kill someone, that is 2nd-degree murder. The less serious charge, still very serious, is 3rd-degree murder, and that is a much lower standard relating to what intention is. And then the lowest of the 3 charges is manslaughter, which is that basically the suspect died in his custody because he showed a reckless disregard for his life. Ultimately, you know, if you're a court watcher, it's never a good sign when you have 3 pretty serious charges and thousands of pieces of evidence when the jury comes back, you know, within 24 hours.
Yes.
You know, the
Never,
longer
not
that
a good sign for whom, James?
for Derek Chauvin,
Right.
for Officer Chauvin. You know, this is typically something where I think, you know, defense lawyers who were looking at it were saying, you know, you would want time to sow reasonable doubt and have, you know, people going through the evidence. Obviously, we don't know the verdict, and we don't want to speculate. But a quick verdict, relatively speaking, when you have these 3 very serious charges and so much evidence, is a really quite striking. And in fact, Minneapolis Public Schools were planning to do remote learning Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and not today because the local school system didn't anticipate that they were going to reach a verdict today.
Mary Beth Albright, let's go to you for this process of the jury. So we got no word of jury notes. Oftentimes they can ask questions or try to get clarification from the judge. So talk to us about, you know, that process. And then, you know, Mary Beth, this has been such a waiting moment for all of us, eager to hear the verdict and the decision. But of course, the jury has been hard at work both last night and all day today.
Yes, Libby, when you think about the work that the jury had to do in this span of time, they have to pick a foreperson, they have to discuss the charges. It is not a long period of time. I just from talking to people, it's less of a period of time than I think many people expected the jury to be out. And
I kind of thought they were going to get it today.
It's interesting that the jury didn't send any questions to the judge. Not good, not bad, just interesting. We don't know anything about where the jury's head is as one body. We don't know anything about what they're thinking. We don't know what their questions are. I mean, that's when the jury sends questions to the.
Do we have any predictions of what we think he's going to get? Also, happy 420. I'm sure after this verdict is read, there'll be a weird, there's going to be like a weird hour and a half where we might, if there's no charges or if he's not guilty at all, I think I'm going to run to the store, maybe get something to eat, some groceries, and happy 420. I got to go pick up a weed order because there's deals today, so got to get them. So little edibles are like $2 right now, It's crazy. Great deals out there. So if you live in a state with legal weed, go get yourself something. Your local dispensary or something has a deal. And if you have a dealer, I mean, it's never bad to check with your dealer. Your dealer might give you some free shit. You never know, or a better deal. But we are sitting here. We are waiting the trial or the verdict. It's expected within probably about a half hour. They said by the end of the hour, so it's going to take a bit. Do we have any predictions, guys? Any guesses of what you think's going to happen? I don't think he's going to get the murder. I don't think he's going to get a murder charge at all. I think he could get the manslaughter charge. But I also think there's a good chance that he gets nothing. But I don't know. This is a weird world we live in. So you don't know. Who's the clown making weed jokes when a man was murdered? Fuck off. We're just talking about weed. I'm not even making weed jokes. Yeah, I think I don't think they're going to get him on murder, but I think they will. I think they will get him on manslaughter. Or nothing at all. Manslaughter or nothing at all. That's really what my opinion is. But I'm just a humble bird lawyer.
So as I was saying, had to elect a foreperson, and they also had to wait till the evidence came in. And that to me was very interesting. I don't know what time. Usually it takes several hours for both sides, the defense and the prosecution, to put all.
Yeah, I don't like that guy's voice. Keith Alexander. Yeah, I was gonna say, how was I making a weed joke? I was literally saying go buy weed. If you have the ability to go buy marijuana, it's a good day to go buy it. It's the cheapest day of the year. I don't understand how that's a fucking huge conundrum. How could you be talking about marijuana on a day dedicated to marijuana when a man was murdered? Well, at least I'm not talking about Hitler. It's his birthday. Hey, you know what? Fuck it. We got a second.
Yeah, dude, not much. What do you say? That's the thing. Let's do it. You want to live your dreams, or do you want to get drunk?
I wouldn't be mad if he got third-degree murder. This song, by the way, is called Fuck Cops.
And you know I'm gonna be eating out all the trash tonight, 'cause I have 1 million fines to pay. I hate cops, and if this stuff the bad just needs to be a fucking asshole, then I guess I'm doing great. Why can't I have a gun? I hate cops, and if this stuff the bad just needs to be a fucking asshole, then I guess I'm doing great. Why can't
I had the volume of my own broadcast up. So they're getting ready.
He is obviously a human being. We heard his defense lawyer, Eric Nelson, attempt to make that case. He's someone who spent 19 years on the police force. And for him, obviously,
Are they
his
Scottish?
boss's
No,
death,
I think
he was
just
fired
drunk.
immediately after this happened. Interesting.
Hey, I'm conflicted by this case a lot because look, there was a lot of things that led to George Floyd dying that day that were caused by George Floyd. But there's a few things where you're like, God damn, Derek, did you really need your fucking knee on that dude's neck for 9 goddamn minutes, though? Like, I'm not even saying... There's parts and times where you're like, God damn, maybe you need to restrain someone with your knee on their neck for a couple of minutes. But I mean, almost a quarter. When you're going on a quarter of an hour, it's a bad visual. He died. It's an incredibly fucked up story and situation. And I, in these types of situations, I try personally to keep my emotions out of these things, because you can get wrapped up and you can end up burning down an AutoZone when you think about how fucked up some of these situations are. But God damn, he was saying I can't breathe before he got in the car, in the cruiser. He was saying I can't breathe when he was in the cruiser. I don't think Derek Chauvin helped him. I indirectly think that Derek Chauvin, how am I trying, expedited the situation. I think Derek Chauvin and his knee made it 10 times worse. It compounded the issue at hand. I just don't think, and I think it's a very, very slippery slope, which there needs to be some sort of slope, but this is it's too slippery. No one wins. No one's going to win in this situation. If he gets off without any charges, it's not like he's a hero. It's not like Derek Chauvin's a fucking hero. I don't think he helped the situation. I think he exasperated and expedited. But I don't believe he murdered George Floyd. Manslaughter, sure. If they go with manslaughter and he gets it, I think that's the best outcome for everyone. I think manslaughter is the best outcome. I think when I do enough soul searching and put my personal bias into this, I do think that he needs manslaughter. I do think that he helped compound and make the situation worse. I do think that he helped lead George Floyd to death. I don't think he killed him. I don't think he murdered him. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. You know, I'm not trying to have the only opinion. If you think I'm wrong, I want to hear what you have to say, or why you think he should get the fucking book thrown at him, or you know, or why he should be free. But I mean, in my heart of hearts, I think this man right here is more guilty than Kyle Rittenhouse of any crime. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is a fucking idiot, but it's no one's winning in this story. The only people who really won anything was George Floyd's family with that settlement. Now, there is a value to a human life. You don't want to say that because it sounds cold, but there is a value. Your life is only worth so much, and you know, George Floyd, the guy passing $20 at a Minneapolis convenience store. I'm sorry. His life value is lower than that of, say, someone who has their whole life to live and is getting a degree in STEM from MIT and then going to go on and work at Boston Dynamic Robots. So for the value of what a 46-year-old man with a heart condition who did pornography on the side and did fentanyl, getting however many $1 million that they did get, I forgot, it was over. I know Breonna Taylor's was $12 million, but I know George's was, I think, a little bit more. That's look, that's pretty good damn value. I mean, most white babies aren't even worth like 50 grand on Alibaba. I want to see how much money they got. You know what? I was gonna say like 20 million, and I was like, that seems like a lot even for a case as public as this. I just looked, and Captain Happy put it in. It was $27 million that the Floyd family got from the city of Minneapolis. 27 million. Bro, that's an NBA max contract. That's LeBron's salary like a contract ago. Now he's on like that ultra contract, but this is like CJ McCollum of the Portland Trailblazers signing a 4-year, $100 million deal. The Chauvin family The Floyd family got $27 million. I want to make sure that I had the Breonna Taylor settlement right. Yeah, it was $12 million for Breonna Taylor, September 16th. Breonna Taylor's family to receive $12 million settlement from the city of Louisville. Wow. No, I just looked it up, Captain. You can look it up again. Breonna Taylor's $12 million. George Floyd's family got $27 million. Unbelievable.
This guide of if you find A and B and C and D, then Derek Chauvin is guilty. So let's talk about the process that could be going on behind the scenes with the jury, because there's so much we don't know. We don't know who the foreperson is. We don't know how they organize themselves. What are you thinking about as you weigh their process?
Yeah, Libby, and don't underestimate the power of an organized flowchart when you're faced with 2 weeks of extremely emotional testimony. And this is not in any way to belittle any of the work of the jury. I'm just saying that when you're faced with mounds and mounds of testimony and weeks of your notes and weeks of 11 other jurors' notes, to be able to have something in front of you that's a chart that you can check off, that's organized by someone else, that actually coordinates with judges' instructions, I have found before is a very helpful tool for people. If you just think of it in terms of human nature, in terms of processing information, in terms of processing
it's hard to remember who all these people are.
So, for example, I'm holding here in my hand, this is the complaint against Derek Chauvin.
By who and when?
It's not very long, but it's just a lot of
Don't
words written in prose, right?
All right, I was planning on leaving my apartment, but I have a feeling that this is going to turn into an all-day
here's
thing.
The first element. Here's the second element.
So now I'm
going to
start figuring out how I can get a soda into this apartment.
The way,
or,
first degree murder versus second degree murder
or
versus
some
third
form
degree
of
murder,
like
those are
iced
degrees
tea.
of culpability.
Some sort of
that
refreshing,
we in society have
sweetened
decided,
beverage.
First degree murder is,
to
for
sit
lack
here
of
with
a
my
better
cotton
term,
mouth.
the worst kind of murder, right? And that's why we're separating second degree murder is a murder that happens when you intend to assault someone. You don't intend to kill them, but you are intending to do bodily harm to them, and in the process you wind up killing them. And so that's why
Oh, I know.
that carries a higher
I might just
charge,
DoorDash
because
it.
we as a society have decided that
Get like a
crime,
7-Eleven sandwich
that
or something.
homicide carries a higher
Oh,
level
I gotta go
of
pick up
culpability,
weed, though.
moral
Goddamn.
culpability, and we want that person.
Well, there'll be
to
like a
pay
couple of
higher
hours
debt
where
to
everyone
society
gets ready
than,
after the
say,
verdict,
murder
and
in the third degree,
I can go
which
squeeze a
is,
store
I'm
visit in.
looking for the term that the judge used. That it could.
All right, I'll be right back, though.
The person may not have intended it, but a reasonable person could have foreseen that their actions would have caused bodily harm. They didn't intend it, but a reasonable person could have foreseen that those actions would have. So, to be able to see those differences, I think might have been helpful to a human being who's trying to process all this information. And then, of course, the difference between murder and manslaughter is also a level of moral culpability in the law. So those differences may have been helpful to the jury.
Mary Beth, I do want to ask you about choosing a foreperson in that process. We'll talk about the jurors in more depth in a moment, but that's something that the jury has to figure out for themselves. And so that in itself may reveal a little bit about their process, right? Did they choose the woman who was a nurse, for example? Did they take someone who was older or younger? Who did they find to be their leader and their voice in this process?
Sure. And, is it the first person who steps up and says, I'll do it? Because sometimes you want that person, sometimes you don't, right? Sometimes you want the person who doesn't step up and say, I will be the leader, the foreperson. And so that's why, other people who have been commentating have said this, and I think it's true. That's why it's surprising that, as Rhonda noted, it's fewer than 24 hours since, we last heard from Judge Cahill and we have a verdict. And it's just, to be able to even choose a foreperson among 12 people in such an emotional case in such a short time, it's unusual, as Rhonda noted, given the history of cases like this.
Keith, let's talk about what happens next if Derek Chauvin is found guilty, because even yesterday, as court was winding down, after the jury had left, right, and that's important, after the jury had left, we heard the judge really blast a member of Congress for commenting on how protesters and demonstrators should be acting, or sort of weighing in on what she thought the jury should decide. And he indicated that it could be grounds for an appeal, frankly. And so there's a question of sort of what would happen next.
Sure, great question. Before I answer that real quick,
Yeah.
I talked to some of my sources who've been following these type of cases. They said this case is unprecedented in terms of the number of police officers who testified against one of their own. So that will stay out in the history books. Unprecedented, the number of police officers who testified against one of their own. Now, to your question, Libby, yes. What's going to end up happening here is automatically in murder cases, in convictions, automatically there's going to be an appeal. That's going to be a given. So no one should be surprised when Chauvin's attorney files an appeal. What's going to be key, however, is will be the grounds for that appeal. Will it be the fact that a jury was picked right after a multi-million-dollar lawsuit was settled upon, or was it a fact that the Daunte Wright case happened during the trial, and then a press conference happened right outside the court, or even Representative Maxine Waters' comments that happened Saturday night before the jury was sequestered. There could be a multitude of reasons why the defense attorney will file an appeal, but you better believe an appeal will be filed no matter what, because that's just automatic. It's not going to be a surprise. It's just going to be when that appeal will be filed and on what grounds. Also, what's going to be interesting to see is if Chauvin is found guilty, if the judge orders him remanded immediately to jail. Sometimes judges will do that in a murder case, and sometimes they'll allow them days to turn themselves in. But it's interesting to see what happens with that if the judge orders him to be remanded immediately to prison.
Keith, safe to say that one thing we know is this is not a hung jury, right? So what is the significance of that?
The fact that everyone was on the same page, and it seems like almost immediately. Again, I can't. I think part of the issue is that they were sequestered. They spent one night last night alone, without their family and their friends. They were like, okay, we're not doing this again. We've got to. It came in today, and they were like, we've got to come together. We're not staying in this hotel away from our family and friends, and we've got to come to a decision quickly. And I think being sequestered, you can't underestimate that. That probably also played a role in this. That that they were just like, we've got to decide on a 4-person real quick, and we've got to move this case along. All in favor, aye. All in favor, no, and move forward. It is. Everyone has said this is truly remarkable. They came back this fast, and I can't help but say, obviously, these jurors knew going into yesterday's closing arguments that what their verdict was going to be. Again, as attorneys who I talk to always say, the closing arguments is really just emphasizing what the jurors have already thought they saw or believed or heard during the trial. It's their time to really emphasize those points. So again, these jurors going into those closing arguments, they already knew what their verdict was going to be.
Let's go to James Hohmann, because of course there's national focus on this, national attention on this. The President of the United States even weighing in, sort of tiptoeing into it, trying to sort of maybe not get into the wrath of Judge Cahill by saying he was talking about this because the jury was sequestered. But let's talk about sort of the national profile of this situation.
Yeah, Libby, and it's so national profile that the White House has just advised that they are canceling a speech that President Biden was supposed to deliver this evening about jobs and his infrastructure plan, because this is sucking up all of not just
no. Hold on. The Biden administration had a speech ready to go for Biden. And then they said, wait, there's a verdict coming in? We don't have to have him go out and do the speech. We can just say, we're going to be monitoring this important milestone case in America. And we feel like the president needs to have more time to determine how he needs to lead the country going forward after this. So just give us another maybe 2 months. We'll see if we can get him out again for a speech. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, give us 3 months and we'll have him out here and you can see him. Yeah, don't worry. President Harris will be out here to give her speech. I mean, yeah. Just don't worry, guys.
Waters, who flew to Minnesota over the weekend, spoke in Brooklyn Park, where Daunte Wright was killed by police last weekend, and basically said people should fight if there's not a guilty verdict here. Obviously, Judge Cahill was upset about that, but it is a reflection of kind of the how engaged so many people, especially on the Democratic side, are by this case. And it's pretty striking to see Democrats really defend her, not speak out against her. There's going to be a party line vote. They'll vote to.
Sorry, I was trying to turn the mic off while I coughed.
But it's a reflection of how much
this
trial is dominating the conversation at the White House and on Capitol Hill.
All right, let's go to Hannah Jewell, who is live outside of the Hennepin County Courthouse. Hannah.
Oh, God.
Hi, Libby. I'm here with Amber and Patty, who are 2 Minneapolis residents who were here the moment that they heard that the verdict came out and are feeling very nervous, they told me. Amber, how are you feeling?
I'm nervous, yes, but hopeful. I'm hopeful.
You were telling me how you've lived in Minneapolis for 25 years, and do you feel that today is different? This case is different?
Absolutely. I'm hopeful. I'm nervous.
And you were telling me before how emotionally you were feeling, Patty. How describe that feeling and what it means to Minneapolis and to the country.
It is sickening. I'm very hopeful. We have a good mixed jury. It means everything to the country because we have lived in this horrible, just stuck mud without recognizing African Americans, Black people, and their history, and they are American, and we are all American. It is the American story, and it's who's going to come visit the USA if we can't make peace at home. Why would anybody come to us? Why would anybody shop here? Why would anybody visit if we don't get our stuff together?
Patty, what are you
Because
talking about, you
this has
dumb
gone
bitch?
on for 400 years. Reparations need to be made.
What?
It is.
What? Why are you melting down like this,
how
Patty?
This has gone on for so long. How realities, half the reality of this country has been denied for so long. And they
Half.
need
They
to be
make up like
realized,
12% of the country.
And
That's not half the
some
country.
kind of apology, at least a start of an apology. The fact that this blue line hopefully.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. Back to you, Libby. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hannah. And to Hannah's guest's point, she talked about the jury and how this is actually a diverse jury, especially considering the demographics of the area it's coming from. Of those 12 jurors seated in the case, there is 1 black woman, there's 3 black men, 2 multiracial women, 2 white men, and 4 white women. Let's look at the age brackets here. 2 jurors are in their 20s, 3 are in their 30s, 3 are in their 40s, 3 in their 50s, and 1 is in her 60s. Now, Hennepin County, where Minneapolis is located, is 74% white, according to Census Bureau data. So, Rhonda, let's go to you for more on this jury, because you and I listened through that entire process, which took a couple of weeks, as both the defense and prosecution and, of course, the judge combed through those jurors. It's a process that began
It is a
months
process.
ago as they received a questionnaire, Rhonda, back in December. Let's talk about the people who are on this jury.
Right, and the poll was about 300 potential jurors that they had to question and interview as a part of the process to pick this jury. I have been stunned the whole time of how much of a diverse group this is, especially when you consider those demographics in Hennepin County. And a lot of people were worried about if that pool in Hennepin County would be able to produce a diverse jury, and it indeed did. And you just went down the metrics, and one of the things that has fascinated me is the presence of young people on there. You have almost half are in their 20s and 30s, so those are millennials. Those may even be some Gen Zs, depending on those people in their where they're at in their 20s. But that was the group that was out in the streets all over this nation and all over this world, talking about police reform, talking about Black Lives Matter. So you wonder if even if those jurors may not have felt strongly about those protests, they certainly have friends or family members or people in.
All right. Hey, a bunch of people just showed up. How are you guys doing? Welcome in. Joe Money says it's my money. I have a structured settlement, and I need cash now. But yeah, let us know how you're doing. If you do get a chance, please like the video, maybe share it, and we can have a nice, healthy dialogue. We are awaiting the verdict. It should be in within just honestly a few minutes. They said by the end of the hour. We're about 20 till, and let's get this live up. Oh, my bad. I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go. Here is a live look at some of the the protests and maybe stuff that are starting up. Mainly here in Minneapolis, we got CJTV, Mercado Media, Black Lives Media, LLC. We plan on maybe watching the verdict from the courtroom and then going back and watching this for the response, the initial reaction from the crowd.
What, you thought I was just talking? Right. No,
Be on fire. Be curious to see or hear the crowd response to this and where this night goes. So yeah, please share and subscribe to the channel.
I don't try to challenge them.
And you'll get lots of good content out of this.
Revolution is an energy. Revolution is that has a nasty underbelly of injustice.
Like you're saying, we got coverage around. Looks like Black Zebra Productions made it to Minneapolis. I should have gone to Minneapolis. Why didn't we go to Minneapolis, guys? We could have had a party. I mean, like we didn't even have to go to the event. We could have just gotten like a hotel downtown and did a broadcast from the hotel. I don't know. I felt more comfortable walking around D.C. than I think I would here, though. Just the energy was different. Even though a bunch of idiots went into the Capitol on January 6th, until it got real dark out and they were threatening to arrest everyone that was out and filming and doing shit that, it was like, all right, well, we'll go back and do this show from the hotel. Like I said, we got a lot of...
And even in Floyd's case, because...
a lot of different stuff going on. I'm gonna be very interested, and we have the ability to pause with this on YouTube, which will be nice. I think. I should get this one up. That's what I should do. We'll be able to go back and listen to that initial reaction from the crowd. Is he not live? Oh my God! I thought he was live. I thought he's not live. Okay, hold on, my bad. We'll go to his Facebook. But no, we'll be able to get that initial crowd reaction of them finding out. It's hard. It's hard to tell because I'm not from here and haven't been to this part.
No, this is not live on YouTube. Facebook only.
I don't feel like they have as many people as I thought they would downtown at this point, but
there's not enough service out here to do a multi-stream. You guys can see all the cameras. There's cameras everywhere and live view backpacks. But because there's no watermarks, you guys are probably watching this through a restream.
You are.
So come over to the source, Mercado Media on Facebook. You guys.
I wouldn't. He doxes people. He literally said it. He mentioned that he doxes people on his stream before. So, I mean, you can go over to Mercado Media if you'd like on Facebook, but I don't know. You're probably better off here. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is that we're going to become friends and you're going to invite me over to your house and I'll fly cross country and we'll go see Plymouth Rock. Isn't that right, Salty Cactus? He's going to dox you and the people that are in his stream, if you say anything wrong, are going to get you fired from your job. I'm going to try and start a business with you at some point. But not like a cocaine business, I mean, we'll probably be on cocaine when I say that I'm going to start this business with you, but, like, do you want to have a friend that wants to make money with you and, like, have lifelong, like, accomplishments and goals that we reach? Or do you want to lose your job because you said that you didn't think this guy needed to be electrocuted and that all cops are bastards? I don't know. I'd rather just stick here with this guy who's high.
Yours isn't the only one. I've seen other people's lives go down.
Yeah.
Just be prepared for the games. Rubia Garcia, guys, follow on Facebook. those live streams. So like I said, guys, I have no connection to do a good quality stream out here like usually.
All right.
Happened and charges filed. What do you make of that as part of this bigger picture process of holding police accountable?
Oh, there's Frank
In
Nitti.
response to the killing of Dante Wright, it was very clear when you listen to the city officials that they are aware that they have a relationship problem, a trust problem,
Hold
a
on, my
public
bad, I guess.
relations problem.
So this guy screaming right here is this guy right here.
More broadly, as you know, Dante Wright's mother is white. As you heard in the interviews we just saw on the ground, there were white women speaking out against their concerns.
You know my
about,
favorite show is Cops.
Police violence against black people. And so we are seeing some police officers try to take steps initially to communicate that they hear the cries of residents, opposed to immediately being on the defense, dismissing ideas like implicit bias and just the other issues that have arisen in the past few years that have revealed that this is actually a problem. What will happen after this moment, because as you noted, there will be an appeal, it's not clear and remains to be seen whether or not this awareness is going to translate into changed behavior, new policies and actions, and a reversal of so many of the things that we've seen in the past that have communicated to people that when law enforcement officers hear these cries, they do more than just ignore them.
James, let's go to you as we watch to see these charges, how they pan out, how the jury decides. Let's talk about the process here that we anticipate. We know that Derek Chauvin and his attorney have arrived at the courthouse, according to the pool reports. We expect the foreperson of the jury to be the one to sort of interact. We haven't seen these people on camera, of course. What do we expect here?
Yeah, Libby, we expect that the jury is not going to stick around. Some cases the jury will speak to the media afterwards.
No.
All indications are because of the sensitivity of the case.
The verdict, you mean?
Because of the nature of the jurors, that we're not going to have that kind of an experience. There has been some indication that we may hear from a member of the Floyd family or
all right.
Keith Ellison, the Minnesota Attorney General. There is a desire by Judge Cahill to have some of that happen indoors rather than outdoors because of the potential safety risk.
Oh, God.
So you could have a situation where people are sort of like speaking in the courtroom. It's one of the reasons that we had kind of this announcement that the jury had reached the decision was obviously so that the defendant could come back, but also so that they could send home the people who work in the Hennepin County building there. There's a lot of anecdotal reports of people streaming out of the Twin Cities, a lot of nervousness, people kind of on edge, worried that there won't be justice in this case, and you're seeing a lot of police mobilization, not just in Minneapolis, but in big cities around the country, including Washington and New York, as law enforcement is very on edge about potential fallout from the verdict.
And James, law enforcement has had some decisions to make about how big of a presence to have and if it can ultimately backfire and do more harm than good. So let's talk about that as well as what this day means to the Minneapolis Police Chief, Chief Arredondo, who of course took the stand in this trial and is now having to sort of make sure his city gets through this safely.
Yeah, so on how different departments are reacting, it is really interesting. The Oakland police chief in the last few minutes had a news conference.
What?
Basically pleaded with people not to loot tonight, saying local black-owned businesses make them suffer.
The word is out.
Last summer will help protect your protests. Just keep us abreast of what you're doing. In a place like New York.
What do you think the phone call was like? What do you think the phone call was like from in Oakland? Do you think they were sitting there and the 911 operator picks up the phone and goes, 911, what's your emergency? And then it's a Hennepin County area code. And it's just, oh God, just board everything. Why did you not board everything this weekend? Oh fuck. Just board it up. Oh my God, they're coming. It's World War Z. They're fucking coming for us. Oh no. Everything that's been said in the last 3.5 minutes has me saying, is he gonna get anything?
who are the local community leaders, whether it's sports stars,
Oh, no.
pastors. It's not going to be politicians.
This isn't
or law
going good.
enforcement, in all likelihood, who can urge calm. The Floyd family themselves, who can lower the temperature if there's a verdict that the community is unhappy.
No.
Joining us, we're watching the Hennepin County Courthouse now, where any moment the jury will announce its verdict, and the jury is deciding whether Derek Chauvin will be found
They already
guilty
did.
on any of the 3 charges he faces in the killing of George Floyd. The charges are second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. We will bring this to you live as soon as it happens. We're on watch right now with our Washington Post team, discussing the last few weeks of the trial and what has gotten us to this moment. Mary Beth Albright, let's go to you to review for us again sort of the severity of these charges and how they're different.
Sure, Libby. I go back to that chart that the prosecution put together and the different elements, because it really reflected both the complaint that was filed, that the prosecution filed against Derek Chauvin back at the beginning a year ago, and it also reflects the judge's instructions to the jury before the closing statements yesterday. These 3 charges are different from each other. They all require that the cause of death was Derek Chauvin's actions, and I feel that was one of the real arguments and the topics that all of the witnesses turned around. You know, when you saw the prosecution and all those witnesses that they brought in, all of the experts that came in, who talked about the cause of George Floyd's death, excuse me, and you know, all the different ways that he could have died. And, you know, it's interesting because a lot of it was, if you remember, the autopsy said that it was cardiac arrest, but also on it, there was something about lack of oxygen. And so I think that really the defense was trying to pull on that thread in the autopsy about cardiac arrest, because you saw that when the defense brought its medical experts on, I believe that they had 2, that they were really focused on all of the other ways that George Floyd could have died. Because, of course, the prosecution has to have one story and stick to it, right? That it was the cause of death, that Derek Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck for almost 9.5 minutes was the cause of death. Now, the defense's job is to poke holes into that story and present the infinite other possibilities that exist in the world that could have been the cause of death. It could have been his blocked arteries. They brought in evidence of his blocked arteries. I believe one of them was 90% blocked, right? They went as far as to say it could have been the carbon monoxide that might have been coming out of
they figured out the
exhaust
oxygen
pipe
levels was high,
out of a
didn't
car that might have been on. We don't even know if the car was on. It might have been the fact that the ambulance was delayed in arriving at the scene. It might have been George Floyd's past drug use. You know, that is the role of the defense, is to present infinite other possibilities that would present reasonable doubt in even one juror's mind, right? That Derek Chauvin was the cause of George Floyd's death. And remember, one of the very specific jury instructions that Judge Cahill brought up, that was sort of batted back and forth in the closing arguments, was this idea of what is cause. What is a cause of death? And it was a substantial cause. And what does the substantial cause mean? And just because there might have been other factors doesn't mean that the knee on the neck was not the cause of death, right?
I bet that's so significant for the obvious reasons of, you know, the jury trying to sort of parse out who's responsible here, but also
Yeah, what do you mean,
attorney,
Captain?
In his closing
Past
argument,
drug use.
really tried to push this case
he
to the
was
jurors that
he was a known drug
if you
user
find
for
any of these
years.
things to be valid, heart disease,
Yeah, I mean,
drug
look,
use as contributing factors, then my guy's
nothing against
innocent.
that. I don't
And,
think
as the
that's
jury was gone, we saw the
an
prosecution push back on
excuse
that.
for
So, did you feel that
murder.
Judge
I
Cahill
just
was
don't know if they
clear in
can
his
prove
instructions to the
murder in
jury
this
about
case.
what actually qualified for conviction and what equals sort of guilt versus innocence?
Yeah, I feel that the jury instructions were very clear. And remember, Judge Cahill not only read those instructions, but those instructions were litigated not in front of the jury. I mean, the jury sees maybe half of what actually happens in the trial, right? All of those motions, all of the jury instructions are discussed and are litigated between the defense and the prosecution. So the instructions that Judge Cahill read to the jury.
I get what you mean, Captain Happy. He was dead. He was. He was high at the time, yeah. But I guess more. I think what she was talking about was that his long-term drug use led to that time, and the damage of his heart and his other medical conditions. What she's saying isn't that he wasn't. It's not that he wasn't high then or hadn't used drugs recently. It was just that his long-term drug use was what caused
Derek Chauvin guilty of
if you get what I
murder or
mean.
manslaughter.
That's what she was trying to
put
say.
in a little asterisk at the bottom, like there can be.
I know it sounded like she was trying to be kind of tricky there, and I thought for a second that that's what she was doing, but she tightened it back up at the end, and she was.
Other factors involved.
She made a
that's what
decent
I meant by
point.
it got sort of batted around in closing arguments, but I do feel that those instructions were very clear to the jury, not just from Judge Cahill, but also in the written instructions, which were the ones that were read by Judge Cahill, and from the prosecution. I think all three of those together were very clear. And of course, that is critical because all three of the charges depend on causing death. If Chauvin didn't cause the death of George Floyd, then he's not guilty, period. So that finding of cause of death by the jury is essential.
And clearly, Mary Beth, they didn't have questions about it because they haven't
Who
put
is
forth
this
jury
lady?
notes. We were sort of waiting and watching to see if they would.
She
So
makes
it's a
good
little
points.
dangerous to read too much into the jury notes because they could ask something like, what is reasonable doubt? And that could mean that the jury is deciding there is no reasonable doubt or there is significant reasonable doubt. So you can't read too much into those notes, but they can leave some.
Yo, please take a moment to share the stream, or like the stream. The little thumbs up on the bottom on YouTube. That really does help. And, continue having a discussion and dialogue. It moves us up in the analytics, even though we're kind of buried based on how Susan Wojcicki views our behavior over on this channel. But, give it a like. Maybe share the video to your Facebook or Twitter. But, Martin Brennan asks, I think it's time to crawl into the Jameson, the little Irish whiskey. He's gonna pop in early. Well, it's about 4:00 your time, so it's 5:00 somewhere. Martin, I have some absinthe. I have some whiskey. I really don't think I'm gonna be drinking today though, because it's a special day in stoner culture. And even though I don't really like stoner culture or talking about weed, I do feel a slight amount of sentimentality on 420. So I am getting ripped. So I still got to go pick up some more weed at the store. Luckily, it's down at the corner, so it's not that far. But and then I don't know, get some chicken or they got little mini pizzas at the convenience store that are pretty good. Like it's actually like a genuine pizza. It's just small, like one of those Pizza Huts that was in a Target. It reminds me of that back in the day. But I'm looking forward to the rest of today. I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, let's see. Hi, Susie. Okay, this is totally unrelated, but one of my favorite Seinfeld episodes is this new coworker starts calling Elaine Susie at work. So she just goes with it and concocts a whole story, and then Susie dies. And then Jay Peterman, her boss, tells a story of like one night while we were editing our catalog, you know, we let passion take over. And Susie and I made sweet love. And Susie didn't exist. It's a good story. It's a good episode. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. You're like, you're chuckling to yourself. If you've never watched the episode, you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? Can we please just go back to the trial?
And kind of going back to what was always said, one of the things that really jumped out at me as someone who's covered murder cases is that usually jurors want a better interpretation or have questions about the autopsy report, about what the medical examiner said, because oftentimes you
it's Taco Tuesday
on a jury with a
oh
medical
shit
background, so they wanted clarification on a few points. That wasn't done here. No one had any questions about what the medical examiner or all of these medical experts said. And that to me is really striking, that everyone seemed to be on the same page. It was clear, no matter what, as to what the medical examiner and all these various medical experts on both sides had to say. That to me is very telling.
We expect this verdict momentarily. We will, of course, go to the courthouse as soon as we are told that the verdict is imminent. Courtroom 1856 has been the center of our focus for these past weeks. The trial has lasted a little over 3 weeks, but the jury selection process began in early March, and it's gone even farther back than that because questionnaires went out to the jury back in December to start screening people to serve on this jury. James, it is a reminder of the remarkable power of the judicial branch and the judicial system that 12 people decide this verdict that has even the President of the United States nervous, James.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris also went in the last few minutes saying, no
Jill?
verdict will heal for the
I had a bad dream.
the centuries of racism and discrimination in this country. Clearly,
it was at the
everyone
diving
to your
pool.
Point, you know, Keith's great point on
Corn Pop was there.
On them not asking for more details about the medical examiner. There is a nurse who's on
Jill,
the jury.
am I on an
These sorts
Amtrak?
of jury deliberations, usually when there is someone who's kind of more of a subject matter expert, they kind of do emerge as sort of a respected voice on the jury.
Okay, hold on, because you just said this, and now I'm curious. Captain, Happy, can you do me a favor? Because mine's dead, and I haven't had it charged in like a few months, and I probably should play it or sell it because I don't do anything with it. But if you have an Oculus, can you try and see if it works in VR on the YouTube app? Because like I've watched just regular YouTube videos on my VR headset. That's what I used it most for. And a few games. Those headsets are pretty fun. But can you try the protest in VR on your headset if you got one? If someone has a VR headset, can you try when the protests start happening in VR? It might work a little bit. Like, I don't think it would be that great, but I think you could focus in on things better. See, there you go. That's the problem. I have the headset. I think it would. I don't think it would work in. I think it would just be like if something's happening over here, you could like look over and see it just in a better focus. I think. I don't know. I think that could be cool though. Someone should try it. If you got a headset, try the YouTube app and see if this protest or if this would work. Oh no! I clicked off of all of my videos. Oh no! Oh god! Oh god! Okay, hold on. Don't panic. Don't panic. Oh no! Oh, we fucked up big, guys. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh, I fucking had 10 goddamn videos up and deleted them all. Oh god! Stick with me, folks. We'll be back in a second. Jesus Christ. That's how you fuck up majorly. Oh, okay, hold on. There we go. Wait, nope, that's me. God damn it. See? Oh, no. Oh, man. Oh, this got fucked up fast.
All rise for the jury.
All right, we're back.
All right, please be seated. Members of the jury, I understand you have a verdict.
Oh my God, here we go.
Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court file number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m.
They got him.
By jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Jury foreperson 019. Members of the jury, I'm now going to ask you individually if these are your true and correct verdicts. Please respond yes or no. Juror number 2, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 9, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 19, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 27, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 44, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 52, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 55, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 79, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 85, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 89, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 91, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 92, are these your true and correct verdicts?
Yes.
Are these your verdicts, so say you one, so say you all?
Yes.
Members of the jury, I find that the verdicts as read reflect the will of the jury and will be filed accordingly. I have to thank you on behalf of the people of the state of Minnesota for not only jury service, but heavy-duty jury service. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to follow the deputy back into your usual room, and I will join you in a few minutes to answer questions and to advise you further. So, all rise for the jury. Be seated. With the guilty verdicts returned, we're going to have Blakely, you may file a written argument as to Blakely factors within 1 week. The court will issue findings on the Blakely factors, the factual findings, 1 week after that. We'll order a PSI immediately returnable in 4 weeks. And we will also have a briefing on, after you get the PSI, 6 weeks from now, and then 8 weeks from now, we will have sentencing. We'll get you the exact dates in a scheduling order. Is there a motion on behalf of the state?
Your Honor, the state would move to have the court revoke the defendant's bail and remand him into custody pending sentencing.
Bail is revoked, bond is discharged, and the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff.
Wow, there
Anything
he goes.
further? All right. Thank you.
Held without bail. He's going in right now.
The
There he
breaking
goes.
news of a verdict that will make an imprint on American history. You're watching a Washington Post special report.
Wow.
Let's recap the verdict and the headlines on the charge of second-degree unintentional murder. The jury found Derek Chauvin guilty.
Let's go to live. Let's go.
Juror number 89. Are these your true at 1:45 p.m. 20th District. Statement. Here we go. Versus Derek Michael. 7 CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day on 3 verdicts. Juror number 89. Heavy duty jury service. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to follow the deputy back into your usual room, and I will join you in a few minutes to answer questions and to advise you further. So, all rise for the jury.
Here we are live. Here we are live. They did! Wait, they just did! They just did! No! No, they're still gonna do it! No! Damn it, we should have rolled credits! We should have rolled credits while we had a chance! And this could have been, oh God. Oh, we could have rolled credits. We should have, before this. We spoiled the tease. You're supposed to do the superhero tease at the end of the credits. Hold on. We got it. Roll credits. Roll credits. Oh, wait, what is this? No, this is the wrong end credits. Whatever, we'll go with it. And so, The saga of Derek Chauvin, while seemingly over, was just beginning. You see, it may seem like justice was served, but this was just the beginning for the Avengers of Wakanda. A new Earth had been opened to them. A world where a year of the same behavior over and over led to them still getting their way. No, it was not enough. If they don't get no justice, we don't get no peace. All right, that's the worst credit music of all time. Who would make that the ending credit of their movie? Unless it's a terrible ending. God damn. All right, I guess we'll be back in just like a few minutes. I'm gonna reset the stream, and here we are. Here we are.